Well, thank you, Governor Ricketts. So it's springtime. It's planting time. It's time for the farmers to plant our spring crops. It's time for our gardeners to get out in the garden and do what they love to do. It's also time for our landowners to spruce up around the house and their place, do some landscaping, those types of things. And tomorrow is Arbor Day, right? Started in 1872 by J. Sterling Morton to plant trees. So it's a great reminder to plant trees and join the tradition started by J. Sterling Morton. So to do all that planting, we do need supplies, we need seed. People that will have to go out and maybe purchase some plants, go to the nurseries, those types of things. So the Department of Agriculture has issued some guidelines basically to the nurseries and garden centers to give guidance for the COVID-19. Basically, our guidance is follow the steps that we've had in place, follow the suggestions for Governor Ricketts for social distancing. But we also will add to that a little bit. First of all, we do have also the state health directive, and we have the local directed health measures that may be in place. So these nurseries and garden centers need to follow those directed health measures as they set up. In addition to that, we would suggest that they expand their footprint. They give more space for people, the customers, to move around. Maybe they put some tape down. They help direct traffic, similar to what we're doing in the grocery stores and those other stores, and just allow for shopping to take place, purchases to take place, but allow for social distancing and work to crush the curve. In addition to the nurseries and the garden centers, we also we have directives out for farmers markets. The farmers markets are generally this time of year, fairly soon they would start up. And those farmer markets are not something that the Department of Agriculture operates, but we do work with the local entities, whether the cities or whoever organizes those farmer markets. And so we have some guidance out. It's on our website. It's on nda.nebraska.gov. Basic guidance, again, similar to what we're doing with the nurseries and garden centers, but a reminder for example, to not hand out samples of food during the COVID-19 response, to give more space, to have sanitizers out in the area where the consumers are. And let's not forget to remind the consumers and the customers to take precautions to protect themselves, whether it be masks or gloves. You know, only pick up the products that you're going to purchase. And if it's at the farmers markets, the vendors should be the ones handling those goods, and they should have gloves on at all times when they package up the purchases for the consumers. The other thing I would like to talk about is with the farmers markets, we do have, and it fits in quite nicely, I believe, with what Karen is talking about today with the WIC program. The Nebraska Department of Agriculture does offer coupons to WIC eligible participants, and they can use these coupons at farmer markets. So it's basically $24 per person, and they can get these coupons at the Department of Agriculture, call our staff, and then they can use these coupons at the farmer markets to make those purchases through the WIC program. The governor also mentioned the detasseling task force that we're beginning to set up. We have a great value-added business here in Nebraska with the corn production system and the vital service that the detasselers play in adding that value to our crops here in Nebraska. About 7,000 people participate in detasseling each year here in Nebraska, and we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to protect that workforce as they come into the fields for social distancing and COVID-19 precautions. So this detasseling task force will be chaired by myself. We have participation from the major seed companies. We have participation from the detasseling contractors, and then we're also will be finalizing that task force with a couple of growers. And we look forward to working through that and making sure that we have the protocols in place for the safety of their workers. Last year when we went out and detasseled, the governor and I and some others did, and we had a 20-minute safety training before we went out and detasseled. So I'm sure they're well aware of safety protocol. I know they are, and we'll work to incorporate COVID-19 safety into that protocol for them. And then one last thing on the national scale, USDA has announced recently that there is $16 billion of direct aid to producers that will be forthcoming. The details of those programs are still being developed. Those direct aid programs will be administered by the Farm Service Agency. And then there's also a $3 million program for food purchases, and that will go through. $3 billion. $3 billion, excuse me. $3 billion of food purchasing through USDA Agricultural Marketing Service. So more to come on that, but those are some of the things that are going on with Department of Ag. And one thing on the farmers markets, if they're interested, go to ourbesttoyou.gov, or go to our main website, find the logo that says Farmer Markets, and you can find information about your local farmer markets, where they're located at, and also the vendors that are supplying produce to them. Thank you.